What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about my Gdansk list and my tournament run. As you can see, I did not have the most successful run in the event, but I wanted to try some new stuff out with the Lugia list. If you guys have been following along and checking out my masterclass, all that stuff, I've kind of talked about some ideas with Lugia, but I haven't had a chance to really test too much because of work and just stuff in general. I haven't gotten to cups or anything. So I wanted to try out putting in a Wellspring Ogrepon, a Thornton, and an extra mist energy. You know, pretty simple stuff. A lot of people have been going up on the rat count. I decided that maybe this is a better option to use Wellspring to take two prizes early as well on a lot of decks that, you know, are Pidgeot reliant as well, because if you just take the two early, hands can always pick off something small later, and then Lugia can end the game that way, and Zord has been on a decline anyway. So Raikou has not been as efficient. Rather than playing a fourth copy of Research, I felt like maybe, the Thornton could be really clutch in a lot of random situations, especially because we find ourselves discarding the bear early or the deer early, and we can just get the Thornton play going, and then all of a sudden we have a rat, a bear, a pheasantipity, whatever you need later in the game to win the game. And then I have two mist energies, which just is a natural inclusion to deal with Dragapult stuff. Now, I will say I don't think my changes affected how I game played this tournament at all whatsoever, so I actually don't have an actual read of what's better and what's worse. But obviously, recency bias is that I tried these new cards and they didn't work out for me, so the old cards are probably better. But there's a week and a half till LAIC, and there's a pretty high chance I do end up playing Lugia, so I got to figure it out by then. So coming into this tournament, I will say that my travel day was an absolute nightmare, so I did feel like absolute shit when I got to the tournament. I was originally slated to land in Gdansk at about 2 p.m., and I had been flying through the night. I didn't get to sleep too much on my first flight. Just couldn't get to sleep. Had a long layover in Frankfurt, so the idea was I go Frankfurt, sleep on the short flight to Gdansk about an hour and a half, get to my hotel, maybe take a shower, nap for an hour, and then I'm good to go by like 3 o'clock. Ride out the rest of the day, you know? We end up not being able to land in Gdansk due to weather. By that I mean there was winds, and I thought I was going to die, almost certainly, when the plane was trying to land. The turbulence was so bad, probably the worst I've ever experienced in my life. We tried to land twice with no avail. We got rerouted back to Berlin. Now, we were not allowed to reroute back to any Polish airports because of like permission or laws or something. So I ended up getting rerouted back to Berlin, which is now a 5.5 hour drive or a train. We are stuck on the runway for about an hour while they're trying to decide what to do with us. And then eventually they deplane us at like 4 now. So I'm supposed to have landed in Gdansk at like 1:30 at this point, and now it's 4 in Berlin. We get randomly rebooked on tickets. I now make friends with a lot of the random Germans, other people that are on my flights, and I get randomly rebooked into a flight that has me going through to Warsaw to then Gdansk later at the night. I think I landed at like 1 in the morning, and I end up keeping my flight. So I end up doing all that, go through all that, get to the Gdansk airport at like 1, get my Uber, get to the hotel by like 2, shower, and get to bed by like 2:30 almost. Wake up to get ready for the tournament like 4 hours later. I feel awful. Like I have like the most insane headache. My sleep was also like super, I don't know. I think I just like couldn't get the anxiety down or like the day out of my head because I just definitely didn't get a ton of sleep. So I felt awful. Now, I don't know if I played terribly or anything, but I think it definitely set like a bad mojo on my day in general. Round 1, I hit Robin, which is really funny because Robin and I have been talking, and I knew he was playing my old 60 cards from my old 60 card list of Lugia. So we played, and he won the flip, and Raikou did end up mattering quite a bit in game 3, where I could have, if he didn't open Raikou or use Raikou early, I could have gone around Raikou and maybe try to take a hands prize for 3 at some point on Squawk or Luminion. But because the Raikou was the first attacker used, I had to either answer the Raikou or go around it early, but that just meant that I would always be behind if he was able to chain bosses, and I couldn't, which is exactly what happened. I lost the game. Round 2 was against Bartosz, who was playing Thorns. He flipped over Thorns. I pretty much conceded pretty quickly. I had a chance in one of the games because the start was pretty slow. He didn't attach energies, but he did just like Enhanced Hammer and Crushing Hammer my energies, and I was like, yeah, I just can't do anything. So I just lost. It just wasn't even close. And then round 3, I hit Anthony, who was playing Palkia. This matchup, I 2-0'd him, but I will say, like, I Wellspringed, like, a Duskull on the bench and hit, like, the active, but it felt pretty bad to use Wellspring in that scenario. Like, I felt like if I could use, like, Fez or something, it would have been better. But I don't think the outcome of the game would have changed. I think it would have been absolutely easier if I had Raikou, like significantly easier if I had Raikou to just clean up games. Like instead of killing the Duskull, I could have just killed the active Palkia that turn and been like, okay, I just can't lose now from this board position. Like you're in just a tough spot. That's the one game where I did feel like I missed Raikou quite a bit. So yeah, that is like a note, a mental note for me moving forward, especially if Palkia continues to be big potentially. Then I hit Nicholas, who was playing a very unique like Pidgeot, Dusknoir, like Swelling Flash Luxray deck with like Slowbro that does the take prizes. So his whole point was to play from behind, and I think the deck was incredibly favored into Lugia. But both games, Nicholas like made these pretty egregious misplays to put me at 3 prize cards and like a 12 card hand with like Pheasantipity in play. So both games I was just able to go like, okay, hands, accelerate the hands, boss up your Luminion for game, because he had to play Luminion to like basically like get going a lot of the games. And game 2, the Thornton actually came in clutch because I had a pretty bad start and I only got 1 Lugia down. And he was able to go knock out my lone Lugia by going like from a board of like Duskull Rotom going first. He got into Dusclops. He got with like Grand Tree, Swelling Flash, Counter Catcher, KO, Sealstone to get Switch or something, or a Skateboard, sorry, on like a Pidgey. So like he got this like insane like combo off to kill my lone Lugia, and I looked at my hand. I was like, okay, Luminion, Thornton, and I already had 2 chops in discard because I squawked them away. I was like, Luminion, Thornton away my Squawk for Lugia, evolve into V-Star, knock out your active, and it was like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you did all that, but now we're back to now we're back on even on prize cards, and you have no Sealstone left. And I think he had, and if we stay even on prize cards, it comes down to can he pop another Duskull to do it. I don't think he had another Dusclops in play that turn. So even if he got Swelling Flash, he can't even get Swelling Flash off or anything. So it was like I have won the game efficiently at that point. Unique deck, definitely was sweating a little bit there. I thought my tournament was over for sure, but yeah. Next round I hit Lucian, who was playing Bolt. Game 1, I just get only 1 Lugia down. I get absolutely hosed. Game 2, I set up well and I beat him, or like I think that was the inverse of games. And then game 1, I won, and game 2, I bricked. And then game 3, I could only get 1 Lugia down at a time, so it gets really dicey. But I end up taking like a bunch of prizes with Bear. So the end game comes down to Lucian just like needing to hit a gust to win the game, and he ends up getting like the final gust of like a Prime Catcher off of his Pokestop. He had like 12 or 13 cards in deck, and I think he already used Sada, Greninja, everything was done, and so it was like his last ditch. I think he had a catcher in hand too, but he was like going for the Prime Catcher obviously because the Prime just wins him the game. But he was going for that last ditch effort where like I was able to get this like pretty unique circumstance off where I was able to get into the Bear, get the Legacy out of the board, like make it really awkward for him. Yeah, I think Raging Bolt's a pretty good matchup for Lugia still, despite like how aggressive they can be. But all things considered, I would still play Lugia. I still would have enjoyed this tournament. I know the top 8 was pretty bad for Lugia. There was 2 Thorns, but there was 2 Banets as well, which is like a really good matchup. So all in all, I think it was just a rough tournament for me. Not a lot was in my control in some of my losses, obviously, but variance will get to us all. That is one thing you guys have to remember. And just one regional. That's like not too pressed about it. But hopefully LAIC does not go like this, and then we'll have a ton of tournaments coming up. So check those out, and we'll catch back up, guys. Peace out. Thank you for watching.